Hello and welcome back to Crew 42's coverage of the 2025 Greater Peoria Open. We are in Morton, Illinois for Northwood Park, Northwood Black Disc Golf Course, and it is our MPO feature card, the back nine of our round one. I am Zach O'Haron, and on the commentator's mic with me, I have Sam Smigiel again. How are we going?
It's going great, Zach. So far, our feature card, nobody really shooting hot, but I would say everybody is still keeping it together, staying in it.
Let's take a look at those scores real quick. As you mentioned, GT and Zach kind of setting the pace here, even one over. Isn't super hot, but they're not terrible. Ryan and Garry a little farther behind that. They're going to need to stay very clean on the back nine and get some of those bonus birdies if they want to be competitive at this event. Starting off with hole 10, 400 feet. It's just 400 feet, right? It's easy, right? Sam?
This ceiling is so low and so tight. The drone is flying the left gap, which I don't think you're going to see anybody take. They're going to take the center gap.
Challenge. I challenge that right now.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
Well, yeah, you filmed it. So I don't typically see many people taking that left side gap unless they're going roller.
That's fair. We'll see. Gary's going to take it.
He's going to take the left side gap. See? All right, fine. You're right.
Got him.
I think what Zach is doing here, if he's going straight, he is going roller, but that center gap is what I think a lot of people are doing. But that ceiling is so low. You've just got to throw it really hard and really straight to get it there and get yourself a putt.
Honestly, the biggest mistake you can have on the hole is not getting out the gap.
Yeah.
As long as you get past the trees, you'll have under 300 foot for an approach. I really do like the forehand here a lot because it's just a little bit of flex and you're almost guaranteed to get out. Ryan's got enough power to get to the green. He's going to leak a little right in relation to the tee pad, at least for his to look.
Yeah, forehand I think is going to be a little bit safer play. You're probably going to be throwing a little more flex on it. So not everyone's as comfortable with that, but GT going with that outside roller, and I think you're pretty happy with that. A little bit outside the circle, maybe mid-circle too, and if you put yourself there for all three rounds, you're feeling pretty good about it.
GT said it's the best tee shot result in the sanctioned round he's ever had. Wow. All right, Garry, just putting it right over the rocks there. He's going to be in circle for his putt for par.
Yeah, and this one of the frustrating things about this hole is you can be almost inside circle two, and if you are not short of the basket, you don't have a putt.
Good thing I'll never outdrive this hole because I'm a noodle arm, so I'll never experience that. Most disc golfers won't either. GT there,
we gotta get you throwing that roller.
No, we don't. No, I don't need to embarrass myself with another skill I can't do. GT didn't quite give the effort he wanted. Misses his wide right. Ryan, on the other hand, that looked on like a good bid for the Anheuser.
Had a really good line, just left it a little bit short.
Zach's going to save his par. I imagine we're going to see the same thing for most of our card.
I really think these two holes here, 10 and 11, they're just a little bit extra pressure to try to get one more birdie before you head into what I'm going to call the gauntlet.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's where rounds go to die. Last couple tap-ins and par from our cards, not surprising. And hole 11, 380 feet, is a tight technical tee shot here. Forehand, I think, is the line to attack the basket. What line do they need to get in order to penetrate into the green?
Big forehand, as straight as you can. Going to be taking a long line behind this tree on the left-hand side there. And yeah, if you can get that far on a forehand, then you're going to have some sort of putt. But hit that initial gap. Do not hit any of those first trees because then you are looking at auto bogey.
Garry ripping this low, trying to get a little ground action, and he does.
Yeah, and he's left himself with the long putt. He's short of the basket. I don't think he's got the power to reach it, but you'd be happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Zach doing pretty much the same. Should stay out of the woods for the most part.
Yeah, nudged that last tree instead of penetrating in, so he'll be on the edge, but was hoping for a different skip than that.
This looks maybe a little bit too right, but if it gets far enough, that's not too bad. No, he's way up there. Look at the power on that. Just all hyzer the whole way to the basket, and he's going to be almost inside the circle.
Ryan is very young, but he can throw real far. And
back to the fairway, you need to hug that tree.
I mean, that's a great kick for what it could have been.
Yeah, I mean, once again, if you miss that gap and it kicks to the right, if he gets the opposite kick with another favorable 2 kicks there, yeah, you are for sure going to bogey, possibly worse, depending on how easy it is to get back out to the fairway.
Right. Little layup from Zach's going to put him in the bullseye. Going to get to our putts now. GT 50 feet. And it's going to leak past the basket as well. He's going to have a 25-foot comeback putt maybe.
And again, that's going to be a tough bogey heading into this really, really tough stretch of disc golf where you would like to be, at worst par, a bogey is going to put a little bit more pressure on GT to play these next couple holes as clean as possible. What happened there? Did he had a tree?
he has a couple trees in front of him, and he tried to sneak it in between them, and didn't work out.
Okay, good putt.
Limits the damage just to a bogey. Garry also having a bit of a comeback putt, but he handles it well for a par. Hole 11 averaging 3.33 on the day. So a little over par, not too surprising. As we move on to maybe one of the most notorious holes on ever.
Yeah, it absolutely is, Zach. This is just one of the toughest holes, if not the toughest hole in disc golf. Your tee shot is going to be probably a long turning backhand. Anything near or past this short pad. Then your next shot, either to this low landing zone, or if you're getting aggressive trying to get a birdie, you need to get somewhere up on the hill, but man, that is far. Then anywhere from there, if you're at the bottom, you want to land at the front or inside this gap a little bit to give yourself about 250-foot shot up to the basket. Sounds pretty easy, right?
I think the biggest mistake we see on this hole is into the approach in that final tunnel. A lot of people try to get aggressive and try to push through the whole tunnel. And what ends up happening is that you leak a little left or right, hit one of the plinko trees, and get yourself in an unsavable position. But right now off the tee, as you mentioned, the goal is just to get short pad area or a little farther and have an open swing to across the bridge. Not a bad kick for Zach there. That could have been worse.
Yeah, I think both him and Garry are going to be in position where they'll have a chance to get to that next landing zone just past the bridge.
This looks a little low from Ryan.
It's a little low. It's a little short. But again, he's in the fairway, and I think that's okay.
Oh, boy.
Can't go too far right.
A lot of those woods there on the right side don't let you advance very easily either. He's going to have to do this kind of patent pending turnover.
And that's really what this hole does, is if you're not getting over the bridge on your second hole, or on your second throw rather, you're going to bogey at best. And that makes this hole really tough because you've got so much more disc golf yet to play on this hole. And you see, Zach is just going to lay up, not even going to try to get to that next landing zone.
This hole is so notoriously averaged well over that par 5 number. I mean, we've seen years where it's averaged 6.7, right, when that first kind of released this hole. And people were questioning, is par 6 even a thing? And, professional disc golf. And I think people have become smarter on the hole. They've started to throw a little slower You see Garry here just being real smart. First landing zone, second landing zone. He's putting himself in a really good position for par, and that actually takes strokes on the field right now. And I think people are slowly figuring out the hole a little bit more and more every year. So it doesn't play quite to that 6.7 as often anymore, but it's still. I mean, every time they play Ledgestone, they say 2 of the hardest holes on tour are on this course, 12 and 14. So 12 is probably the more famous of the 2, though.
Yeah, 12 is going to be the more famous because we've had this back when this was Northwood Golds.
Yeah.
So we had this hole back then, and believe it or not, the hole's been cleaned up. So it's something.
It's iconic. I mean, it feels like if you ever travel to Northwood Black, or even if you play shorts, it feels like everyone wants to play this hole once just to see if they can get a par on it. I remember the Taylors, Josh posted a video of him. This is how you get a par, his first par ever on the hole, when he was with his son Luke before Ledgestone, I think it was. And it's just, this is kind of one of your bucket list holes that you would love to be able to par. Or if you're an elite player like you, birdie.
I'm not trying to birdie this one. I am so happy with the par on this hole. If I get a birdie, I threw it in.
What do you think the hole averaged for round 1?
Oh man, I'm gonna say 6.3.
Ooh, you're being generous. 6.5 for the field today.
Yeah, I don't feel like that was a bad guess.
No, it was a good guess. It was a great guess. But 6.52, yeah, for round 1 is playing difficult.
Wow, and GT is in a position to prove me wrong here. I said he was going to bogey, and I think he might par.
It pushed.
Oh, come on, make that.
GT has really started elevating his game a lot since last year. I saw him. He's added the kind of power forehand to his game, and he's got really comfortable with his current bag, especially in the mid-range slot. He's got good power, can control it with a straight line very consistently, and he's starting to do these things more often now where he's able to save strokes on his round by using the skill sets he's adding to get to positions he couldn't earlier.
Ryan's got a long look.
Little pitch up.
Leave that a little short. We'll have a tap in from there. GT with a chance to save par. I mean, you just don't see many pars from where he was at off the tee.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, it's a birdie if he had landed in the proper landing zone the first time, right?
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just watched a birdie performance, but unfortunately had to take one extra stroke.
Yeah, and Garry, really just playing the hole as it's designed. Just
He's the local. He should
play right down the middle, keep me out of trouble, and I'm going to be happy with that.
Now, hole 13 plays tight as well. It's a different challenge here. You're throwing hyzer off the tee. This Christmas tree here that I hear everyone call, how far past that do you need to be on your drive to be able to feel confident going over this pond on the second?
I think if you're anywhere near that, especially left of that, then you're going to be looking at doing it, maybe a turnover, or if you get far enough left, probably I'd say like 30 to 50 feet, then you're going to be throwing the sidearm, which is probably preferred on this green. But really, this tee shot, you want to throw it actually a lot straighter than you think.
Mm-hmm. Neutral disc on hyzer, let it float.
Yep. Kind of that pushing hyzer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I keep hearing the pros keep talking about their language is shifting, right? Every year I film more people, I hear them talk. That, description of a pushing hyzer versus a fading hyzer and stuff like that. I hear you guys talking about that more and more. GT got knocked down early, rolls right. He's going to be in a tough position. Zach wanting nothing to do with the woods. His play here, I talked to him a little bit, is putter, 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 tap in. That's his plan.
I really like that for him because I imagine trying to play this hole with nothing but a sidearm, and you could give me 50 tries at it, and I'm not going to birdie it. So, him as a lefty backhand, righty forehand player, it's just such a tough hole. So,
Credit.
It sucks to not birdie it, but there's also a little bit less stress where, hey, hey, I know this is what I'm doing, and I'm not having to worry about putting myself in a challenging position.
You know, all the credit to Zach, too, because, I mean, I don't know of anyone else. I could be wrong. You let me know. But I don't know of anyone else who's even remotely close to tour quality who has what I would call the limitation that Zach has, which is lefty backhand, righty forehand.
No, I mean, and he's done so well with that, where you would think that he would struggle, and I think this is a prime example where he understands his game so well that he's just going to play to his capabilities and understand that there's 17 other holes that I can birdie.
Right. GT does a beautiful shot across the pond here. Now, the pond itself is not OB, correct? It is the stakes around it?
Yeah, there's going to be some stakes that are about 10 feet off of the pond. So we're not really going to be able to see them in the camera, I don't think. But basically, most of that rough is going to be OB, that longer grass. So anyone in there is going to be testing that OB. It doesn't look like any of our players today are going to be dealing with that.
And the only reason that's flagged there is because that tends to be the high end of the water. It's for Ledgestone, where they've had a couple of years with some rains, and so they've had to stake it where if the rain is coming down and the water's higher, this is the level, so they don't have to restake any OB during the event.
Yeah, and there was some danger of some weather this weekend where that absolutely could have come into play.
For sure. Garry gets his par. Zach, putter, putter, putter.
Well done.
Tap in, gets himself a par as well. And I won't lie. I mean, considering we're 4 holes through our back 9 right now, our card has a lot of gray, not a lot of red, which is good for this back 9. I mean, they're playing very well. Agreed. Hole 14, maybe the hardest hole in the world. It's competing with 12, that's for sure.
It's competing for 12. I think this one has you have a better opportunity to birdie it, but you also can get yourself in some really bad trouble, especially on the upshots. This first tee shot, you want to push it far and straight. If you don't have the distance, you want to be as right as you can to give yourself an angle around this corner. Next shot, you're going to put yourself really as far down this fairway as you can while giving yourself a upshot. And then if you're anywhere around here, then you are looking at about 350 feet to the basket and try to give yourself a birdie. But man, there are a lot of trees along that fairway. And when you're throwing it over 60 miles an hour and you kick one of those in the wrong position, then you can get off the fairway so fast.
I think, too, that's really important for this tee shot is if you don't have the power to get to the tunnel to see it, if you're right of this landing zone, you at least have enough of an angle to hyzer around a little bit the corner. You can't cut the same distance off, but you can at least try to hook it a little bit, get into the tunnel a little bit, rather than being short where you see GT right now, which is more of he's just going to have to lay up to the kind of the mouth of it.
Yeah, his next shot, I'm guessing, is going to be no more than 150 feet, where he's just going to be pitching around the corner. Garry and as well as Zach, I think, are going to be in a position where they may be able to throw either kind of that long hyzer that you were talking, or even a flex forehand if they want to try to bite off another, 70 feet or so.
Ooh, Ryan holds on to that one too long. He is early and left. And he's going to get caught up early again. And like you said,
so this is really where he would like his drive to be.
He's trying to go up and over. The wind is good for it. It's right to left right now, but it gets batted down right back to him.
Yeah, and that is a tough spot to be after 3 throws. And Zach was going pretty aggressive on that shot there, trying to get a lot of distance. But that's that flex play. Like I was saying, the flex forehand for him, a flex backhand, you can get a lot of distance. Garry keeping it low. I really like that play where, he's not trying to get a ton of distance. He's just trying to keep it in the fairway, and that's safe.
Yeah. I love GT's posture on that throw. You could see how much he was taking power off to guarantee he's just sitting in the center of this lane.
I like this shot from Ryan.
Kicks off left. We'll see if it gets into the really thick stuff.
All right, now we'll see how much Zach wants to take off of this. Looks like he's got a slower disc in his hand.
Hey, talk to me a little bit about this one too. It's very similar to 13. Once he's in the tunnel, he's wanting to throw zone or Chally OS, I think, out of his bag and just take as big of chunks as he can with a disc that he can just kind of point and shoot with.
Yep.
And we see Garry kind of going back and forth across the fairway here.
Yeah, he's just taking this whole 200 feet at a time. But, man, that is keeping yourself in play. That's not always a bad thing. Oh, and a really kind of goofy little wind bounce there where GT probably lost a little bit of distance that he was expecting to get.
Another tree kick for Ryan. Hacking his way up the fairway. As you mentioned, 200 feet of every throw is a common thing that can happen if you're out of position. But unfortunately, 200 foot per throw means you're still putting for 7.
Yeah.
If you're not getting up there, and Zach's getting
slow down, hit something. There we
go.
go.
There it goes. Garry with a forehand now. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, sometimes you just know. You're telling it not to hit it, even though it's heading straight for it. But sometimes you just gotta wish. Long bid from GT and looking to be just a layup there.
GT talking with the card mates right now. He said that one of the things he still hasn't figured out yet is how to throw a good, just jump putt. Just how to, do a jump putt approach. He struggles with doing that. He was talking about keeps finding himself doing stuff like that where it's leaking early and not getting to the basket. And then I said after he made this, I was like, well, it doesn't matter because he made it anyway.
Yeah,
so
why don't you just do that?
whatever it takes to get 2 throws total is fine. It doesn't matter if it lands 90 feet away. You still just throw it in and you move on.
Yeah, 45 and 45. It's still, as long as it's in the basket.
Still totals to 90. For a bogey save for Garry, that's actually pretty good. He was struggling there, and Ryan with another short putt miss.
And you can see he's just a little bit kind of wind out of his sails here.
Mm-hmm.
He really fought through this hole and was taking a lot of aggressive shots, and I mean none of them were really getting where he wanted. And it's you can see that stretch definitely gets a lot of players.
Hole 15 now, 650 feet. Your first shot needs to go right because the whole left side is lined with OB. There's a bit of a drop off over there, so you'll see a lot of forehands coming, trying to avoid this little extra pocket. You see the rough there on the left there is OB as well. It gets pocketed in that OB section, so you just want to land in that area and right, and then from there you get a forehand approach or a backhand approach to the green. Watch out. It is kind of on a knoll, so you can get some nasty rolls.
So this whole left side trees, those are all OB. Right side is not OB, but the further right you go, kind of the tighter it is to find a lane back up to the basket to get the birdie. So GT playing that really well, probably with the mid-range, just keeping it in the middle and going to have himself a forehand approach.
Hey, Zach's going to go putter lefty, putter lefty.
I mean, to play, why doesn't he just do that on hole 12 just to keep it consistent?
You know, we're going to have to ask him because, I think he gets a favorable matchup off the tee. He can throw a little more aggressive off that.
He would never do that.
And his second, honestly, he gets 2 pretty favorable. As long as he lands in good positions, he can get over on 12 in 2 pretty easily with just 2 hyzers. And then once he gets over, then he should go just putter, 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 and take a par every time. It's that easy.
Yeah, it really is. This course isn't even that hard. I don't know why these guys are getting bogeys. Meanwhile, at this point, I'm like 7 over.
We're not going to talk about that. Not quite on the line there for Garry. He's going to be off to the right side. Zach with the squeakiest shoes of all time. I kid you not. I'm not exaggeration. I've never heard a person's shoes squeak as much as Zach's did. I think he puts.
Wonder if you paid for that feature.
Maybe he did. I mean, but if it's going to be putter on every hole and take pars on everything, I mean, I'd pay for it too.
Yeah, same. Give me those shoes.
GT here looking for a turnover. One of his more overstable mid-ranges. He's going to put it on angle.
Slow down. Slow down. Not like that. Okay.
Yeah, short of the OB.
Wow.
Just short of the OB. That was close. All right, good approach from Ryan there. Got himself a short 10-foot, 15-foot putt.
Garry giving it a nice, safe bid.
Zach finding himself in a bit of trouble here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be close enough to the basket where he's going to go on the right side of that bush, and it's caught up a little bit, but he's right there.
The mistake would have been to get caught in the bush again. So he has avoided that disaster. GT now from the OB's edge. Just a little too short for his birdie look.
And after this stretch of 12, 13, 14, you know, that's a really, really tough stretch of disc golf. This hole is definitely easier, but I wouldn't call it an easy hole, especially with the OB along the left-hand side. But this is where you start to feel like you want to get that birdie, and we're kind of heading into that last birdie stretch of this course. And now you're starting to feel the pressure to start scoring again.
Yeah, and this is 2 holes back-to-back here that are very scoreable. 16, 330 feet straight downhill. Do you like the backhand straight at it, or do you like a little flex with the forehand?
I like a backhand straight at it, and it's really deceiving on this hole. It's 330 feet downhill, so you think it's going to play, 300 or, maybe, 270 or something, and it plays all of 330. There's kind of a little low ceiling, and it for whatever reason, and you also want to get over
the log wall.
So you've got to pretty much ace run it is kind of the play.
I don't hate an ace run.
Think we can get one today?
Maybe.
We'll see. I'd like to see one.
People are going to say this is scripted because either someone ace runs this and they're going to pretend like you knew, or one ace runs it and then we just look like we're silly. I'd rather it look scripted. I hope Ryan runs it.
We did.
It's got to get out.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I'd give that every bit of a run. It was a little short, but, you're stoked about that.
For sure. Let's take another look at it here from the catch cam angle the whole way. Gets a little bit of flex on it. It's a little more stable of a disc, overstable maybe. Hugs that left side, comes back in. And like you said, just a little short, maybe, 4 feet farther in that landing spot, and he'd be getting himself an ace on that.
Yeah, good speed control to keep it up on the top there and not blow 35 feet past the basket.
Good layup from Zach. Just puts it under the basket.
What's GT got here? Oh, he's looking at it.
Maybe those branches stopped him from getting the run in, but he'll have a tap in as well.
Good camera angle to show how much uphill that putt was from Garry. It feels every bit as uphill, where you're throwing it straight up at the basket.
Ryan with his first birdie of the round. That's going to move us on over to hole 17. one of the easiest holes on the course, one of the very few that plays under par. There is OB on the left side, but you have 2 tunnels to pick from. What's the best plan of action?
Whatever you're more comfortable with. If you like the backhand, you're going to throw a flex backhand on the left-hand side, something that starts on the left, drifts to the right, and has a little hyzer at the end. Or what we're going to see Ryan do is a little flex forehand on the right side. And this is looking to be on a good angle. Maybe a little overturn. No, that's good. And there is OB along the left-hand side of the fairway, so that is probably going to entice some more players to throw that flex forehand to just stay further away from it.
I remember watching Ledgestone a few years ago and seeing so many people, oh no, GT hops off the bridge and goes OB. But I saw a lot of people taking the backhand left gap, and now as the years have progressed, a lot more players are taking this right side with a forehand gap, whether that's a skill adjustment people are making with their power in their forehand being able to reach it, or just something they've learned like hole 12, just a natural adjustment to the course, trying to make it easier for themselves.
Yeah, Garry overturning it a little bit, really probably making sure he stays away from that OB. But what a putt.
He told me before he put that, he's like, watch, I'm gonna make this just for you. And then he did it, turned around to me, said, told you. So he showed me.
Nice job, Garry.
You should show me more often, Garry. This is a par look for GT after the OB.
Nice.
Apparently putting from distance on this hole is easy. Just tap in.
And Ryan airballs it from inside the circle, which is... Man, you would have liked to get another birdie there.
Zach's able to convert his. GT and Zach now tied at 1 over. Garry at 3 over. And Ryan at 8. As they move on to the final, hole 18. I love this hole so much. What do you got to do to give yourself a chance at birdie here?
You got to throw your drive a little further than you think. You want to get as close to the gap as possible, so we are flying the a little slow here, but once we get there, that tree on the left hand side is a pretty good gauge for where you want to land your shot. And then you're going to go mid-range fairway driver, whatever's going to keep you straight as possible, going up and over the hill, finish as straight as you can, and try to get yourself a look at birdie. But getting up that hill on that second shot is really tough to keep the disc going straight enough. Zach's going to go with a more aggressive line, trying to bite off a lot of distance off the tee. And looks like he did.
Yeah.
That's great.
Couldn't ask for much better than that.
Yeah, most players are going to be throwing exactly what Garry's doing here. Just trying to have kind of that pushing hyzer once again.
You'd mentioned that there might be some inclement weather this weekend, at least it's been threatened. Today specifically, it is very muggy, very humid, and it is difficult to stay dry. What was that like for you on the course today?
I mean, it was all about your grip. Grip was really the biggest challenge on the course today, outside of the course itself. And it was just, you were soaked just from being outside. So maintaining hydration and keeping a good solid grip was key.
Shade was your friend, huh?
Yeah.
Good course for it, at least.
But, I mean, even that,
it was still brutal.
Just so hot.
Oh, I get it. This needs to slow down. Yeah. Doesn't get into the woods, but he has got a couple trees to contend with on his run up on the next shot.
I don't think Garry's going to be able to get a whole lot of distance off of this shot. Just really trying to trip it to the top of the hill, or at least close to it as possible.
There is a platform there. How flat is that first platform where the grass kind of ends? Is that a good clean run up, or is that still tricky?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a really kind of a tight spot where, you are going to have a flat run up, but the key is just being able to, the higher up the hill you can get, the easier that second shot is, where you're getting over the hill. You see where GT's at. That tree, I think, is, hopefully not going to bother him, but I know that's going to be in my head. I'll get past that last tree.
This looks good.
I love this. I love this.
And it's going to be a birdie look for GT. Last year we covered this event, and he was in one of the rounds. He had landed in a very similar position. So I talked to him a little bit about that after the round. He's like, it just had to run it back from last year.
This is probably going to skip a little bit right, but if it stays clean, that's good.
Garry now can't see the basket.
Man, you can see what Gary's dealing with is he's got to throw the disc so far up immediately, but then keep it straight. And it's just a very tough angle to hit.
Ryan's shot up the hill fell a little left off the fairway. He's got a forehand scramble from here.
Okay, close enough where he's able to get up and down.
Zach now. Oh,
you want that birdie. I wanted to see that one drop.
It's going to be left at 1 over. GT doesn't get his putt to go either.
Oh, we haven't seen GT's yet, but
I'm sorry, Gary's. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, Garry. They both start with G. Forgive me.
Oh, and look at that. To get to even par. That's a really good birdie on a pretty tough hole to get back to even. Zach cleaning it up, going to finish at 1 over. Respectable round from Zach as well.
Taking a look at scores right now. Even rated at 10-28. So quality round from GT. Zach 1 stroke behind Garry, and Ryan falling a little bit behind there at the end. Going to leave them farther down the leaderboard. In fact, let's take a look at that leaderboard real quick. See GT and Chris Relaford tied for first at even apiece. Arlinghaus and Adrian at 1 over going to round out our lead card for round 2. And we got a cluster of 2 overs, 3 overs. It's anyone's bid, but round 2 we play at Northwood Shorts.
It is, and you can see this course was showing its teeth, so tomorrow being the more scoreable day, players are going to want to be chasing, climbing up that leaderboard. They're wanting to get aggressive, so really looking forward to that.